I have great news that you have to hear. Costco and King Soopers have toilet paper. That means now that the pandemic is done, we're clearly not going to the bathroom as much, so we'll be able to buy it for a discount this weekend. Those are exactly like the articles we're reading about the housing market. Clearly, home inventory is up and demand is so far down that you're going to get a great deal. And we've got sellers who are worried they're lowering their prices, and we've got buyers who are worried they're pulling to the side. So, how are you going to deal with that? We're going to go through it. Hi, I'm David from That Mortgage Couple on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We are part of NFM Lending. We are the Cramm Group. And let's first talk about housing demand and household formations. When you look currently at housing formations, the actual amount of demand of the supply of buyers, let's call it, the people that are coming to the market wanting to buy homes, on average, that's running about 1.4 million. And that's above what the historical average has been. So even if you see a slight downturn because some people can't qualify now due to the higher rates, we are still seeing household formations on average rising. So now this is the other part of it, right? We're reading in articles that new housing starts are running about 1.7 million. Well, we're destroying about 100,000 of those. They never seem to mention that in the article. And 1.6 million then is what that net figure is. So they contrast it against the household formations and they go, well, if housing demand is only 1.4, well, then that means you should have a 200,000 oversupply. But what they're failing to take into account in those articles is the fact that that all those are not completed homes. Completed homes actually run about right now about 1.3 million, and we're still destroying 100,000 to get that 1.3 million. So that's creating new housing supply of about 1.2 against a housing formation of 1.4. The difference of those is 200,000. That's a big difference that's not being discussed. There's still not enough home inventory. So we have to start to quantify what does that increase in home inventory look like? And we're hearing and seeing a lot of articles that are screaming from the top of the rafters, home inventory is up. Well, yeah, home inventory is up. Last time I did this presentation was about 150,000. Now it's just a little over a million. But if we look at the difference between the mid 2020, we were looking just about 1.5 million. If we look 2019 to 2020, inventory was almost 2 million. So we're still 50% away from where we were back then. So we've got to start helping people understand that, yeah, inventory is up, but you don't necessarily need to lower your sales price, and you don't need to necessarily sit on the sidelines because it's not going to be a buyer's market tomorrow. Obviously, we've got to break down the real story for them. The real story on existing home inventory is this. You've got existing home inventory at about that million. You've got those that are under contract, though, at about 600,000. So unless those fall out, you've got only 400,000 in terms of existing actual inventory that's available. So how does that compare? How that compares to 2016 is it's still a 75% decrease over where we were then. Okay, that's forever and a day ago. Nobody can remember back to 2016. 2022, April of 2022, we're still 40% of what was available back then for existing home inventory. So we really have only come up about 33,000 in terms of the overall home existing inventory. And oh my gosh, I'm going to start spurting blood from my eyeballs if people keep telling me that foreclosures are coming. Currently, foreclosures are right now running about 0.8%. So there's not a whole lot of homes sitting vacant. People are able to pay their bills. Now, that could change in the future, but we still got a long ways to go before there's a major impact there. So there is very little reason for sellers to be lowering their listing prices. They're competing with a ton of other people. Are they competing with more? Yes. But they're not competing with a ton of others. They just need to be a little more patient, and we can help them get what their sales price is. And we can help bring buyers back in saying, you don't necessarily need to stand on the sidelines and wait. According to DMAR, in the month of April, prices went up by 3.9%. year over year. That translates on the average home in the Denver metro area to a $32,000 increase. How long are they going to sit on the sidelines and wait until they say, I think home prices have increased enough that I'm going to jump back in again? Because it's not necessarily getting cheaper. The other good news is there's predictions that in 2024, rates will start to come down a bit. So, hey, great news. Get in now. Have the rate today, watch rates rise in 2023, and in 2024 come back and do a refi at potentially a lower rate. So now comes the best part, is how we can help you. We've got presentations that can do exactly this, that'll speak to your sellers or to your buyers. We've got rent versus own. We've got the cost of waiting. We can help dial in on a specific property if people are saying, that's kind of the area I'm looking for. And every single time I do it, I'm able to, no matter what the interest rate is, no matter where we're at in terms of growth, I'm able to show people that there is a significant impact to their bottom line for sitting on the sidelines and waiting and seeing what happens. So reach out to us. We're That Mortgage Couple on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you so much for listening. We look forward to working with you.